Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 101st Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Uther, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. And Uther's been in the Brotherhood for a very long time now and is one of the most long-serving Brotherhood members. And he's been in so many battles now, I bet he wishes he had a pound for every battle he was in. And then we have COH clan member Piper, who has bought the Rome BROTHERHOOD faction. And myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. So there's our team there, quite experienced players. Quite a good team, but you wait till you see the other team. This should be another great battle for you to watch. And here is that other team. We have Greeks clansman Cleomenes, who has bought the Macedon faction. We have Indy, RTW player Indy, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. And then we have Titans Beast, who's also built the Rome SBQR faction. So there you are, you've got a very good team there. Should be a great battle to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, if you notice that Cleomenes with his Macedon Pike faction has moved into the centre with his two Roman allies on each of his flanks there. That's kind of a standard thing that a lot of Rome and Pike armies do. They tend to have the Pike units in the centre with the Rome allies on the flanks there. It helps with the flexibility on the flanks. Just going to pause the game for a second here to talk about the team for a second. As you can see, we've got Indy here. I haven't played a lot of battles with him, but the battles that I have played with him, he seems a very good player. Then we have the Greeks clansman Cleomenes. As I've said before, the Greek clan practice for hours and hours and hours to be the best Pike units, the best Pike users on RTW, and I think most people would agree that they've succeeded in that goal. Then we have Titans member Beast here. Now the Titans are a small clan, but they play RTW a lot and are a very good clan. And because they play so much, they've got kind of an edge to their game. And this kind of helps them win quite a few of their battles. The one thing about the Titans is they can be very aggressive. Their tactics are attack, and as I said before, attacking is a good thing to do because you keep your enemy on the back foot. The enemy has got to respond and react to you if you are attacking. And Titans Beast is one of those players that is very aggressive. And as you see, he's facing me in this battle. But if you do the same tactic over and over again, attack all the time, then obviously your enemies get to know what you're going to do, and you can become predictable. And if you become predictable, then the enemy teams can start planning what they're going to do and planning what type of army they're going to bring. And I think that he's going to attack me, and so I've bought a little bit of a different army for this battle. If you notice, I've only bought 5 cavalry when I usually bring 6, and I've got an extra infantry unit, and that's all because I'm planning to do something that I don't usually do, and I'm going to attack. I'm going to put the pressure on him and try and put him on the back foot, and let's see what happens there. He might not be expecting it because he would expect me to fold in when he attacks with me facing outwards with my back towards my allies. That's the standard practice against being flanked. Okay, so at this very early stage of the battle, as you can see now, I've decided I'm going to attack. I'm doing a wide left flanking action here against Titans Beast. As I say, I've decided in this game that I'm going to be aggressive towards his tactics, which is usually attack. I think usually when he attacks people, they tend to fold in, as I said earlier, and become defensive. But what I've decided to do, I'm going to throw that rulebook out the window, if you like, and I'm going to attack. I'm going to be the aggressor this time. As you can see, I'm moving in tight there. I'm just hoping my allies are going to back me up. I may need some cavalry assistance, maybe even some infantry. But as you see there, I'm doing a wide flanking left action here. As you can see, the SBQR army in front of me units starting to pull back a bit. So straight away, can you see by attacking, I'm making the enemy react to what I'm doing, if you notice this. This is new players watching this. As I say, it's good to attack. It makes the enemy have to react to you, but if you do it all the time, you become predictable. If you notice here, I'm turning back in a little bit there because I've seen the threat of the cavalry. If I kept moving forward, then I would leave my flank open to that cavalry hit. As you can see, my ally Uther here is smashing in with his cavalry. I am now probably going to move forward with my infantry to support that cavalry hit. If you notice now, once again attacking, moving forward again here with my infantry. That was a nice little hit there by Uther. And as you can see, by doing the by attacking, you new players watching, you can see that as I said earlier, you kind of make the enemy react to you. They have to respond to what you do if you attack. So it's a good example of that. As you can see, their Macedon allies moved a pike unit over there to support them. As you see, I've moved forward again, attacking the SBQR units in front of me. My guess is that he'll bring his cavalry out to my flank to threaten my flank. As you can see, the SBQR cavalry is out to my flank, so I'm going to counter with my cavalry and move them in a position ready to counter-attack if he tries to attack with his cavalry on my flank. You see, Uther is he's brought some infantry units over, and also he keeps prodding them with his cavalry, hitting all the time, like. And that's a nice bit of backup there by Uther's cavalry. As you can see now, I've moved my cavalry out facing out to the left flank there in anticipation of that SBQR cavalry, and a couple of infantry units there moving around to my left. As you can see, as I said earlier, Uther's brought some infantry units out to put on my right flank there. As you can see now, there's a lot of cavalry here on our left flank, enemy cavalry facing us, but we've also got our cavalry here as well, so just in case they're needed. Can you see I've moved my cavalry out wide here in anticipation of them coming around to the left? And if you notice, I've moved my infantry back a little bit as well, because I knew that my left flank was going to be a little bit exposed to cavalry hits and possibly infantry hits as well there. You can see some of my units there were throwing pilers into that retreating enemy SBQR unit there. I mean, we're over on the right flank. As you can see, Uther is fighting the enemy SBQR army on that side. As you can see, there's an SBQR cavalry charge going in. Can you see that our ally, Brutii ally, has got some infantry units in open order? If you got them in open order, when they get hit by cavalry, that can kind of weaken them a bit. And that's what the SBQR cavalry general saw there as he charged his cavalry in. And you saw a couple of our allies' Brutii units get routed there by that cavalry hit. As you can see, Uther's over on this flank as well with his cavalry. You can see that our allies' Brutii cavalry is now joining Uther on this flank. As you can see there, the enemy SBQR cavalry has just pulled their cavalry back, probably with a view to charge back in to get the full cavalry charge bonus. And here you see them now, looking like they're going to charge into our right flank there. If you notice, I've charged my cavalry in as well, over on our right flank as well, so I think we've basically got all our cavalry over on the right flank now to counter their attack. You might also notice, if you look to the left of the screen, you can see me bringing my infantry over as well. As I see, there's danger on this right flank, so I'm going to bring my infantry over to help. And now his men fear us. You can see there's some massive cavalry hits going in here on the right flank. If you notice that the enemy SBQR general has just been killed, and so the morale of his troops will obviously drop now, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the SBQR army on that side started to rout, as you can see now. Can you see them starting to almost chain rout there, as their general was killed and their morale dropped so much there. As you can see, I'm still continuing to bring my infantry over onto this right flank here. You can see a lot of the enemy units routing now, but if you notice, over on our left flank now, the enemy Macedon faction is starting to move a little bit, and probably will be trying to get pikes round onto our left flank there. But we're kind of concentrating on the right flank at the moment to try and beat the enemy here. If you notice, I'm just going to send in a cavalry charge there. Can you see my cavalry just charging in? And bang! As they hit there and rout a couple of the enemy units there. The remaining SBQR units there, as I charged my cavalry in there, just managed to rout them. So there's a heck of a lot of enemy SBQR units now are routing. As you can see, the main battle is still actually, if you like, in the centre left there at the moment. If you notice here, our ally sending his cavalry over to attack some enemy units there, but if you notice, there's a lot of strong enemy cavalry units left there, and if I was him, I'd pull back before I get hit. If you notice there now that there's a lot of enemy cavalry hitting him, it wouldn't surprise me if they brought some infantry units over as well to hit him in the, as you can see, bringing over some infantry units there to go into the rear, and I think our ally may well have lost his cavalry there. Yes, as you can see there, the our Brutii allies just lost. Just going to pause the game there for a second, just to take stock of the situation. As you can see there, our allies unfortunately just lost his cavalry there. So that's the Brutii cavalry have just been taken out. And you can see there's still a lot of SBQR infantry and cavalry and Macedon cavalry left there. Over in the centre, you can see, well, we've pretty well our team seems to pretty well won in the centre there, but over on the left you can see that you've got the enemy Macedon faction still there, under the command of obviously Greeks Cleomenes, and as you've seen him before, he can do some really good defensive formations with his Macedon pikemen there. So as I say, it seems to be on the left flank we've got the Macedons, and over on the right we've still got SBQR and Macedon cavalry over there as well. So there's a general situation of the battle at the moment. Let's see what happens. As I've always said to you, I don't like to Roman generals don't like to fight pike units head on. So, and what I may do is throw a couple of my infantry units in to kind of pin the pike units in one place, where I try and get my cavalry round the rear. If you notice, at the same time, Uther is moving his infantry out to meet the SBQR infantry that are still roaming the battlefield on our right. So he'll probably try and slow them up as we try and deal with the Macedon army here. If you notice, our Brutii ally has got some infantry units in behind the Macedon pike units. Great move there. As I've said in other battle videos, pike units' weak spots are their rear and their flanks. And as you can see there, our Brutii allies known this, and he's got units in behind. As you can see, I'm trying to bring some of my Julii infantry in behind as well. But also I've got some of my units pinning some Macedon units at the front as well by attacking them. You see, I've got my Julii cavalry over on our left flank as well. If you notice, there's some SBQR cavalry charging into, probably looking to kill my general there. Did you notice the impact of the SBQR cavalry seems to be aiming for my general? That's a nice little move by the SBQR general there. Can you see that I've just thrown my cavalry in here into the Macedon units there, and the impact of the cavalry has routed some of the Macedon units. As I said before, Macedon has not got the greatest morale, so if you could start getting one or two units routing, very often they all start to rout. And as you see, a lot of the Macedon units are now starting to rout. As you see, I'm just going to charge my cavalry, going in for the rear of a pike unit that's facing our allies there, and bang, as the cavalry hits, you can see most of the Macedon, and there you go, the Macedon general's just routed as well now. So that's the Macedon army appears to be routed, although I still think they've got cavalry left. I'm just going to pause the game for a second. As you can see, the enemy SBQR infantry here is pulling around on our right, heading towards us here, so there's still a lot of SBQR infantry left. Also you can see Macedon cavalry over there as well, and some SBQR cavalry are left as well. But as you can see, the enemy Macedon army now has just been routed there. So really, basically, it's just the some SBQR infantry and some Macedon cavalry that are kind of left. Plus they've got their archers as well, that all the way through the battle have been shooting fire arrows into us. Let's see what happens now. As you can see, the SBQR infantry are there. What I've decided to do with my infantry is I'm just going to charge forward. I'm not going to bother about being defensive or anything like that. I'm just going to charge my infantry forward, and my guess is that as the weight of my infantry hits those SBQR, those battle damaged SBQR units, they'll start to rout as I move forward. As you can see, the SBQR units are starting to rout as my army runs forward there.
Great gods be praised! The enemy general is killed! Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts!
You can see a lot of the SBQR faction. Right, as you can see, the SBQR general's still standing there against a heck of a lot of our units attacking him. Still holding out really well there. My guess is, though, as Uther's got his cavalry armoured general in behind, his old school general, he's probably going to smash into the back of him, and bang, there he goes. And that would have probably wiped out the enemy general there. And all you can see now is just a few SBQR cavalry units that are going to charge in. And there's the SBQR general just been killed, and there's a cavalry charge that he's just charging in there.
The gods be praised! The enemy's hearts are full of fear, and now they flee.
So really well played there to everybody in the game. That was a great game. I think that's the last of the SBQR enemy have just been routed there. Just like to say, really well played to everybody in the game. That was a great battle to be in. I'd just like to say that always being aggressive on the battlefield is pretty good, because, as I said before, you keep the enemy on the back foot and you make them react and respond to you. But if you do the same tactic all the time, your enemy will become aware of that, and you will become predictable. And then the enemy can start building armies to counter your tactics, and will think of ideas to counter them too. So try and be a bit unpredictable, as well as being aggressive as well. Just like to say, once again, well played to everybody in the team. It was a great battle to be in. There were some really good tactical moves done on the battlefield, and some really great cavalry charges, really heavy cavalry charges went in as well, and it was a really good battle to be in. So this is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed our 101st battle, and look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.